Hello, Seymour, Mr. Bobbington. How are you? See if I can put that there. We got 9 viewers. So, good evening, all. Hello, Dave. Dave Price just come in. It's just me tonight. There's been literally a last-minute hiccup. Angela's not very well. We had to call for an ambulance this morning. She's got serious kidney problems. So unfortunately, that is not supported. It does it every time. She's now resting upstairs, so she's not going to be following the chat tonight. So I've got to try and do that on this phone, which the screen keeps going off for some reason, which is most annoying. So I'll try and keep up with the chat where possible. So on top of that, there was going to be another person with me tonight. We had a big announcement planned, and I got quite a bit to pack into the show. Unfortunately, their computer has packed up completely about an hour before we come on live. So I've had to make the decision to postpone our big announcement until next week. I apologise because I did send out a load of sort of like flyers, if you like, announcing this big thing we were going to say, and obviously we're not going to do that now. So it's left me at a bit of a. I've got so much packed in that I didn't have anything planned as a backup. But you know, these things happen. It can't be helped. It was an unforeseen circumstance, and we just got to make do the best we can, and carry on. So there's been nothing planned for tonight. I am going to try and do some of the stuff I've got planned, because some of it I can do, and the rest I'll just wing it. So basically, well, I'm winging it tonight. Facebook group on my paper. Oh, don't know. No, that's it could be. It might not be. That was an error. Well spotted. But no, we'll leave that. Oh, phone's gone off again. Come on. Come on. Oh dear Lord. I've lost the chat now. This is let me just try and get it back. There we go. So well spotted, Peter Jefferson. There is something in the pipeline there. That's something else that isn't supposed to be known at the moment, but we'll talk about that. That will be mentioned at a later date. So anyway, back to this show. So what have I been doing this week? Let's start with the builds. Now, those of you that follow me will know that I've been working on Mr. Crow here. And I was, you know, I'd done his face a few times. I've come back, stripped it off, and then started again. This is the latest incarnation, if you like, of Mr. Crow, as it were. Let me just there's a few people mentioned about the beard, and I've tried to add some, a bit of a different color in there to try and even it out, so to speak, make it less black, I suppose. But I'm still not happy with it. I was happy with the skin tone, and then I was browsing through YouTube earlier on, and I came across Will Patterson's pictures on Facebook of the airman he's doing at the moment. And I've got to say, the face work on that was absolutely fantastic. And it's really made me think, this is no good now, because his work was so much better. So I think that's what I want to aim for. That's what I've got to aim for when I do my faces on my figures. Now, I believe he used oils. I've never really used oils before. Only really for putting like shadows and that in things. I've never used them to paint a whole face. So it's going to be a whole new thing for me. I don't know whether I'm going to strip this again and do it on this one, because I've stripped this model so many times and repainted the face that I've got a bit sick of it now. But we'll see. We'll see. So, it's been finished, unfinished, finished, unfinished, and now it's unfinished again. So that's the Gladiator I've been working on. I'm happy with everything else. I'm happy with the wolf pelt. I like the wolf pelt. It's the first time I've used inks. And I really looked at the see, it's going to give me in focus. Come on, give me in focus. This light needs. Let me see. Not there. We go. That's a bit brighter. There we go. There we go. So yeah, the wolf pelt in the film has this brown look to it. If we can get a bit closer. So it's got this brown look to it. I'm not happy with the setup here. For some reason, it's just not picking up the light. Doesn't seem to be reaching this section here for some reason. Anyway, yeah. So I'm happy with that, and I'm really happy with the leather work I've done on the belts. If it's going to come into focus, come on. There we go. So I'm happy with that leather work. That's come out really well. Again, I used inks on that. And on that one, I used burnt, is this burnt sienna? Can't see it from, yeah, burnt umber, sorry. So I used burnt umber on that, and I'm really pleased with the results on that. So that's come out fairly well. We've got to turn the phone on again. Get the chill. We've had a big. Yeah, Peter, I do understand that. Peter's saying if you're going to set your own models on someone else's standard, you might as well not bother. You'll understand that it's about your model and not somebody else's. Well, yeah, that's true. But you mean, have you never looked at somebody else's model and thought, I like that, that's what I want to aim for? It's all, I'm the whole thing I want to do is about bettering myself. And the facial work that I saw that Will had done, that is what I would like to aim for. For me, that is it's very good. When it comes to my other fantasy figures, I look a lot at Gilbert Mondragon's work, and a lot of his stuff gives me ideas for mine. So I don't know. It's is that noise your ringtone? Oh, no, that's the zebra finch. It's very noisy, especially on the show for some reason. Um, so I can open the blast doors and DEFCON 5. Right. Right. So yeah. Anyway, that was Russell Crowe. Now the other thing I've been working on this week was something that I got to build for Angela. She likes old cars, and I saw this one in ICM, and I bought this off Mike Jolly. There is a link in the description, and I really like this. It's almost finished. I was going to 2K the mud guards. I don't know what they're called on these. I was going to 2K them, 2K the bonnet, and 2K the tank and the back there, and then matte coat everything else. I decided at the last minute that I didn't think it. Just didn't think it was the car for that. So I went with on this one at the moment. It's had a single two coats of GX 100, and so at the moment I'm quite pleased with it. It's if you side on there, let me just put it maybe that way. And yeah, so it's had the GX 100 on. It hasn't got the clear parts in yet. Looks a bit like Brum there. You look at the car, you know, with the eyes. It just needs a little smile there, and it does. It just looks like it's got a pair of eyes. Brilliant. And obviously the steering wheel's got to go on, which is here, and that will go on probably last once I've put everything else together. There's lots of very delicate pieces that are not. It's not a very strong model when it's put together. You've got to be careful with it. Had some problems at the front end, mainly keeping the front section on here that holds the axle on the front. There's two very tiny location points where this all glues on, and you know it just kept failing on me, and in the end I had to resort to using sprue goo, and but I got there in the end. Took some fettling here and there, but I'm quite pleased with it. The paints are mainly Citadel. So they've come out nice. Citadel and Revel. Revel is the light green. I believe Citadel is everything else. Can't quite remember, to be honest. I did use super metallics on the gold areas, but I then went over with a Tamiya gold leaf to give it a. I didn't think it looked quite right with the super metallic gold, so I went and done that. Quick reference to the chat again. I wish this would stop. Yeah, so this is going to be for Angela, and I'll probably get it finished in the next couple of days. This not even that. This wheel's going to go on the back, and yeah, I'm happy with it, and so that's what I've been working on there. Right, so moving on. I managed Veteranous Models sold or are selling or were selling the ICM catalogue, and so I bought a copy, and it's got some really nice stuff in here. So I thought we'd have a quick look, just have a quick look through and see what new stuff they got scheduled coming out. I thought it might be interesting for people. Here we've got, all right, so that's a list of everything by the looks of it. Oh, yeah, it's like an index. So these are the aircraft. Unfortunately, there's no prices. I don't know why they don't give you a list of prices in a catalogue. We will have to see what they come out. They're generally fairly good with their prices. ICM, especially lately, their kits are really good, and I've enjoyed building ICM stuff. Yeah, and it's great. So let's have a look. So we've got on the bottom there, it says 100% new molds. So these are obviously older kits, but they've just put new molds. And then we've got, there's the I-153 winter version. That's that little tiny Soviet plane. I love them. They look great. It's the L-16. Is that an L or an I? I-16. I-16. I think it's an I. It's either an uppercase I or a lowercase L. So I'll just let you look through them. You pause the screen if there's anything you want to see that you think's coming out. I haven't really had a chance to have a look at these. So these are 1/48. Were they 1/48 on the first page, or were they bigger? They're 1/32. 1/32. So I believe this must have been the I-16 that was built on the ISM channel just before. No, not the channel. The group that's run by. It's not nothing to do with ISM, but there's a group, and they had a group build, and I think it was that one. Anyway, we've got loads of nice kits there. 1/48. I do like this JU-88A. I do like some of these old planes. I like that. It's got a nice bit of colour. A JRB4. I've never heard of some of these. Some of them are much more prolific. You see them around a lot more. But yeah, there's some nice stuff there. Oh, we've got a lovely picture there of German night fighter, World War II night fighter. German bombers. And we've got some more. We're coming into the sort of this Cold War era, maybe. MiG-25 PD Soviet interceptor fighter, MiG-25, MiG-25, MiG-25. Oh, and they're going to be bringing us some airfield plates. That would be nice for like dioramas and that. And we've got some lovely biplanes. Some really nice biplanes. Is yeah, the I-15 there, I-15. And interesting, they're new. The Soviet reconnaissance plane and the Soviet interceptor fighter are new. Now it doesn't give a date, so I'm thinking they're already out, but I'm not sure. We've got some symbols against each of the kits. Let me just go back to the front and see if there's like a key. Doesn't appear to be. does seem to be a bit silly to put symbols and no way of knowing what they actually mean. They could be dimensions and part count, I think. So each one you've got like a profile, side profile, front profile, 128, 188, that could be millimeters, and 92. So I'm going to put 2 and 2 together and come up with 8, and say that's what that is. Interestingly, there's nothing on them ones there, which makes me wonder whether they're actually out yet. So again, we've got a new World War II Finnish bomber. We're in the 1/72 scale, stroke 1144. So we're getting into the tinier stuff, but bear in mind, some of these planes are very big. So even if they're 1/144th, they could be quite fair size when they're built up. I do like the Soviet supersonic passenger aircraft. That is nice. That's going to be 1/144th. Yeah, very much Concorde. Is that not Concorde? Looks like Concorde. Anyway, moving on to the military vehicles. Hello, Mr. Mini Dreams. Thanks for dropping by. So yeah, we've got the some of the. So these are snap. Is that snap fit? Are they all snap fit, or just that one? I think just that one. I think Sebastian would be interested in the armour side. So I don't know if Seb, I don't know if you've already got this catalogue. So and then we come over. We've got some figures because ICM do a lot of figures, and I think later on in the catalogue there are some bigger size figures at 1/16, which is going to be. I'm really looking forward to doing that or doing them. There's lots of medical personnel, Russian Maxim MG team. So everything for your dioramas here. French infantry, German Sturmtruppen. I'm thinking, is that German for stormtrooper? I don't know. Turkish infantry, British, US, and gas masks. You covered for everything here, and then it even goes back to the 1870 to 1871. And then we come over more figures: tank crews, German tank crews, Soviet tank crews, German patrols. Everything is thought of here. Eritrean battalions. So that's the Second World War. I don't know who they are, but they're wearing fez, so that's got to be Morocco, is it? I don't know. And loads more figures. They really do have a big catalogue of figures. German drivers, Soviet sappers, Soviet drivers. So the new ones coming out are going to be the drivers: German, RKKA, and Soviet. Then we come over to the tanks. So these are 1/35th scale tanks. What have we got new coming out? We've got a World War II Soviet medium tank, T-34. Looks quite nice. It's a King Tiger late. Got a lot of these Tigers and Panthers. There's a lot of Panthers coming out at the moment. Very small tank stock, isn't there? Looking at that, they've not got very many tanks at all. got enough figures to sink a ship, but not very many tanks. And then we've got lots of like called support vehicles, and mini sort of smaller type tanks. Got one there that goes on rails. Interesting. So we've got a group, German crew with a P204. I don't know what that is. And so there we go. There's the P204. So you can buy that. That's a new kit, and you can get the crew with it. So I'm guessing, yeah, that's the same. You get that. You can buy the crew with it as well. These are the support vehicles over here. You've got first aid, German trucks. Yeah, German trucks. Have we got anything like British there? I don't type 25. Nothing that I recognise there. The Mercedes there. Then we come to, oh, I do like that. Model Watt 6 British truck. I like that. That is something I would very much be interested in buying. Concordsky. Yeah. Yeah, I do like that very much. And then we come over. I like these sorts of vehicles. I haven't built many of them myself. I sort of buy them because I love looking at, the artwork involved, the box art. And we've got another new one here, which is a German light personnel car. That's new. Then we come to the military. So this is more civilian type cars now. We've got some nice old, yeah, look at that. Packard 12 model 1936. Soft top. Brilliant. Admiral Cabriolet. Yeah, we've got some really nice. Angela will like some of these. Now there's the emergency truck. I love that. I've got a feeling Seb off of Pricks of Plastic built that. I'm sure he built that. And he's got them on his YouTube channel. He's done a video. He does a video where he's on the move in his lorry. He's a lorry driver. And he pulls over on a night and he does modelling. And he does these little shows. If you go and have a look on his channel, you'll have to click on his name and go and check out his YouTube channel. Some really good stuff on there. You can help you learn. And we got the Model T there. So this is the Model T that I've built in various guises. So I've built the Speedster, which is the 1913 Speedster. So that's the 1917. You can see the same sort of shape and design in it. Just very little change there. I love this. It's new. It's a French car. Look at that. That's a beautiful red old. Yeah, yeah, I like that. And I'm pretty certain that Angela will love that when she sees it. And I love that as well. I like the ZIL truck, the Russian ZIL. Don't know why. They were going to bring out a fire. I think it was a fire truck that I wanted. I can't remember now. They brought two out at the same time, but only one of them appeared. So here we've got some old 1/24 scale. So these are I think they're classed as buggies. We've got the old fire. So this is the Model T, pretty much identical to what I've done, but in red with a ladder on the side. You can see they're so similar. I like there's the Model T 1913 Roadster. So the Speedster, the only difference is it's not got this canopy on here or this front windscreen. The parts are in the box for that front windscreen because I looked at them, but not for the roof, which is interesting. There's the one that I've built or building, and I like this one as well. This is a nice. It's a Model T 1912. Yeah, I like that. More cars, old sort of Admiral Cabriolet again, saloon, American fire truck crew from 1910. I don't know what to say about the hats they're wearing. I'm guessing. Well, we'll just leave the hats alone. We got some American mechanics there, and then there's the 1914. These are all new. And then we come to the figures, which really interest me. So we got the SWAT team fighter, 1/16. I don't know how big that would be in reality. I guess you'd be looking at that sort of size. 1/16, I guess. We got the SWAT team fighters, one with a riot shield, one without. He's the medic. Looking at that, he's got the a medic pouch. Then we got some more other SWAT team. Then we've got a SEAL team. That would be nice. I'd like to do that. And a frogman. Again, SEAL team. And these are the ones that I want to do as well. Definitely the Beefeater, the British Queen's Guard. I would probably do the Vatican Swiss Guard. I don't know about them two. I don't know whether they really appeal to me, but we'll see. I'd definitely do the Marine, and I'd definitely do the Yeoman. That would be a challenge, I think. Also, the female officer with the dog, I would do, and yeah, I would do the French Republican Guard. They're all kits that I hope to get and paint at some point. We've got a bit of fantasy figures on here. Vikings not necessarily fantasy, but this guy here, the Night King. I don't know what he's from, but yes, that's an interest. And then we come over to the final page. We've got some nice submarines there, 1/72nd scale. Ships 1/350th. So you've got German battleship, U-boats, U-boats. No, so they're all German, I think. Yeah, they all appear to be German. And there we go. So I hope you found that interesting. Might give you some ideas. Seen anything you like, you can go back, get the catalogue number. The link to Mike Jolly's, who can get all this sort of stuff at a really good price. If you just give him the code, go to his. I've put a link to his shop, but he also does a Facebook page. And you can just, if you join that, give him the code, he will come back and tell you how much something is. And he's a great guy. I've solely dealt with Mike Jolly over the past sort of 2.5 years, 3 years since I've started. And yeah, I highly recommend him. I wouldn't be where I am now with all these nice toys and paints and stuff if it weren't for his help, and I'm really grateful for that. So Now we move on. Let me just take a quick break for the drink. Now, every now and then, somebody comes along that shows exceptional talent. It's quite incredible. And there's a new lady joined a few groups, and her name's Joanne. And I've been speaking to her over the past week or so. And I tell you what, let me show you what she's been working on. Many of you may have already seen this, but I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to attempt to show you something. So not that one. I need that one. So I need to share the screen first. So screen share, entire screen, share. And so this is her current project. These are the pictures today. And obviously it's a big Star Wars destroyer. Is it the big Star Destroyer? And look at that. Let me just scroll through. There's only 4 pictures to look at. I mean, look at that. That is amazing. Now, what makes it amazing is the fact that Joanne has never, ever built a model before. She's never, ever done anything with electronics before. She's never owned an airbrush. She's never painted with an airbrush. And she chose a Star Destroyer as her first kit. She's done all the fiber optics herself, and I don't know if you noticed, she's even done a conversion so that it'll run on mains. Now, what you don't see in these pictures, let me just move to the next one, is she's done a very complex, well, I feel it's complex, like a camo pattern underneath. With lots of blending and shading and different patches of work. And it looks amazing. It's something that most seasoned modelers would, it's quite a task to do. I don't think I would be able to do something like that. I'm just a novice, but this level of work. It's not finished yet, but I have seen. I've seen what the base of where what's going on underneath, and it's really fantastic. So, I mean, I don't know what else I can add to this. I just had to share it because her confidence is just it's just brilliant, the level of work. So I just wanted to share that because we're constantly we're told, not to do this or not to do that. And you almost expect things to be difficult. Somebody will say, oh, that's really difficult, I wouldn't do that, or you're not going to be able to do this, or I've had it happen, and I'm sure everyone has had at some point. But here is Joanne has come in and she's put together this destroyer, and she has done all the fiber optics on it, and then she's gone about weathering it, and it looks amazing. and all this has been done in the space of a very few weeks. It really is amazing. So yeah, that's the last one. So we just go back. I mean, that's you know, give her go to her page, give her a thumbs up, whatever. Just show that her work is. I don't think she realizes how good it is. She's very humble, um, and yeah, it really is an amazing job. So I just wanted to share that with everyone because it's nice. Sometimes there's a lot of bad news in the hobby, people falling out and so on. So it's nice to have something positive for a change. I don't think, John, I don't think she does have a YouTube channel at the moment. She is on Facebook. And I hope we see a lot more. I know what her next project is, and that's going to be amazing. I'm not going to say any more on that because that's up to Joanne to say whether what she's going to be doing next. I don't think she's got a YouTube channel, but I'll have to check. So anyway, that is that little piece that I wanted to share there. So let me just close that down and stop the sharing. And there we go. So, it's considering I had nothing planned, it's been a bit non-stop. Right, so now we come to I broke my steering wheel down. Pop that there. It was crushed by the catalogue. Let me just pop them over there. And for the last half hour or so, we will continue with the X-Wing. Or actually, I could put the clear parts on the Model T. Maybe then show a little how I put clear parts on. It may help some people. It's an old one. Let's get rid of that. Let's get a fresh sheet on there so that people can see a bit more clearly. Right, so there's a lot of clear parts with this kit, and they're obviously for all those other kits that we saw in the catalogue, because out of all of them, I only really need these square ones here, and I think these round ones here. They're the only ones I need, unless I'm mistaken. So I'm not sure, but let's have a look. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go about putting clear parts on, and I don't tackle everyone the same. Just check that. Right. I don't tackle everyone the same. So we'll try and cover a couple of options that we have. Bear with me while I just get the items I need. It is. It's always the last one you want. Right, I think that'll do. So there's a couple of things you can use. Well, there's more than a couple, but we'll just have a look at them. Now you can use products such as this, and contrary to belief, if you're careful, you can use Tamiya cement on clear parts. I will demonstrate that hopefully with success in a minute, but you do take a chance when you're using that, but it can be done. It can be done. The same with this. Now, this is a hot product, so these are tiny pieces. I don't think I'm going to use that on this instance. This is Citadel's plastic glue, and I think it's probably too thin for these small areas of clear glass that have got to go in, because it just sort of flows out, and the end of the needle for me is probably too large to put in a delicate amount, so we're not going to be using that. These are my favorite choices here. So we've got the Tamiya Extra Thin, the Humbrol Clear Fix, or whatever choice Clear Fix you have, and I think possibly my favorite is the Micro Crystal Clear. I use this quite a lot because it does dry clear. I find this stuff is very stringy. I'll show you what I mean. Now, this is quite an old bottle, so I'm hoping it will still. When applying, you can use a cocktail stick because you only want to put small amounts on. You don't want to be. So when you put this on, it's very gloopy. It's, you know, it can be quite a pain to put on, especially when you just want to put a little bit, and there you can see all the wires just coming out of there where it's just all, so it's not a great, again, just so you can see. But it does stick well, and if you can apply it reasonably, if you can get it on well without too much mess, it's a good fixer for clear parts. There's no doubt about that. But I'm not going to use that today again because it's too thick and gloopy, and you can. So I'm going to use a combination of these two. The crystal clear is great. You can use it on control dials when you've painted them or put your decals in, and you've got that little depression where the decal sits. Just come along with that and put a drop of glue in each of the dials. It will be white. It will be white. Put it to one side. Whatever you do, don't stand it up vertical because the glue will just sort of start running out and it will dry at an odd angle. So keep it flat, let it dry, and when you come back, I don't know, 12 hours later, it will be crystal clear and it'll have a nice shine to it. So if you go and use a matte coat, do it before you put this down. Then put this down on the top, and you'll have the reflection of the glass panels, and everything else will be matte. Super stuff for that. Right. So let me get my snippers. And I'm going to get. I've got some. I've always used UMP sanders. I mean, I've always loved them. I thought they're great. And I've done reviews in the past, but somebody has kindly offered to um, give me some Flory Sanders, and I'm going to give them a go, and I'm going to see what they're like. And for the first time, I think I'll be able to do a review where I can include the Flory Sanders and and give my honest opinion. Because everyone is split. It's like straight down the middle. You've got people that love ultimate modeling product Sanders, and then you've got people that love um, Flory Sanders, and they're like it's like oil and water. Um, both sides venomously defend their choice of sander, and sometimes it seems it's bit a bit over the top over the Sanders, but I've always wondered, and I think that I'm a fair person. Um, if I like something, I'll be honest. I'll say I like it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. Um, but I want to give them a go, so that in my own mind, I know which I think is the best. It may be that in the future I'll have a combination of the both. I don't have a problem with that. It doesn't bother me if I've got some Flory Sanders, some UMP Sanders. It makes no difference to me at all. But we'll see. It'd be nice to try them and finally see whether what people are saying is true or not true. And anyway, I'm wombling on. I'm waffling on again. Mobile chat, is that right? So we've got 12 viewers. Let's just clean so obviously be careful when you're cleaning clear parts. You don't want to damage the surface of them. There we go. That's them. So we've got three. Um, we've got three going on. So one, two, and then the third one at the back. Now I just need to check. So we've got K, J, F, K, J. What's that then? Surely you haven't got a paint then. K, J, and F. Let me just find. So K is clear blue. J is clear red. J is clear blue. So they had blue headlamps. Okay, but it's painted on the outside, so I can still put these on. Now, let's pop that there a minute. First of all, we do a little dry fit and just see how they right, so it's a bit of a tight fit, which is going to be a bit of a problem on the front ones because there's these many of these parts on this kit only have a very small area that they're glued on with, so they would be so easy to snap. See whether they're all exactly the same. No, right. Yeah, let's come away a bit there. So yeah, we're okay on that one. So it's quite a good fit on that. And what I'm going to do here, oh no, he's got tet out. He's going to put tet on a clear part. This is going to go horribly wrong now. I'm going to put this on here. You know, I do this all the time, and I just put a little drop and let capillary action run round, and it seals it lovely. But because I've took the piss a bit, I'm going to come in and put a little bit of glue, and it's going to go everywhere, and they're going to be buggered. I'm going to look a complete tit. Right, I'm going in. So a very small amount on the end, and then you just come in and touch the glue there, and there we go. And if you look really closely, when you touch it, you'll see the glue run along the seam. And there we go. So that one there, is glued in with tet. That clear piece. There we go. As you can see, it's still clear. Right, so that's that one. Yeah, that's okay. So that's how you do that with that. Obviously, you have to be careful. I was just doing that to demonstrate that it can be done. I wouldn't recommend using tet on a small area like that because the vapor from the glue, if you put too much, would go inside there and start misting things up. So, you know, I just done it to prove that it can be done. There is a big risk though if you do it that way. Be warned, if you make a mistake, it will make you pay for it because it's not forgiving. It will destroy any clear area it gets on. I would think if you do get a splodge on the glass, the worst thing you can try and do is wipe it off. I think you're better off probably just putting it somewhere flat so that it doesn't run any further and just letting it dry. And then maybe you might be able to peel it off in one go at a later point and then maybe polish it back. But I don't know. I've never tried that. So then we come to a much safer method, and a one that can make windows with this. You can actually, if the aperture is small enough, you can put this around the edge and stretch it across and leave it, and it will create a small pane of glass or clear bit or whatever. So you give this a good shake. It's not that full. So I normally use an old brush to put this on. You can use a toothpick, but I tend to use an old brush as a rule. But get the tweezers. Let me just figure out the best way of doing this. So we're going to apply it. We're going to apply it to the edge where the chamfer is, where the I'll try and do it so that you've got a better view. See, that's just a little blob when you look at it like that, but when you put it next to um, a component like that, all of a sudden that little blob is monstrous. There we go. And we're just going to come along. And the trick here is try not to get it and wipe it all over the place because it will. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a damp cotton bud and then go in and wipe away from the clear part. Don't do that. Just where the glue is, just wipe away. Turn the cotton bud round so that you don't go in with the glue again. And away. Turn it round a bit. And away. And then leave that at that. The quicker you can get it on without any problems, the better. These are going to be painted according to the schedule. I don't know, blue seems an odd colour for a car sort of lights. I don't know, did these have candles in? Thought something horrible there. I was going to ask somebody in the chat. I was going to say, you were around when these cars were. Can you remember? Did they have candles? Let you work out yourselves if you can think what I'm on about. Oh dear. And there we go. And you don't need to worry. Like, for example, on this, I put a bit too much glue on. And when we come in close, you'll see that it's sort of ballooned out on the inside. Come on. There we go. Oh dear. And that's what I mean by them being extremely fragile. And now I've lost it. So now we've got a car that's only got one. The carpet monster strikes again. I will have to find that shortly. Oh, can't use the torch because it's on the phone. Oh dear. Just got to be careful where I tread. But there you go. That's the sort of thing that that's annoying. That because oh dear. You get it all on this channel live. Level of excitement is amazing, you know. Hunting for parts live, and I think I can see it. No, that was a bit of rubbish. I thought for a minute there I'd got it. I've got it. There we go. So, yeah, and obviously the falling off the thing has not done it any good at all. So, now you don't want to see the watch. So you can see the glue on the inside surface there of the front. Come on. Chop, chop, come on. There we go. You can see it there. Now, that will dry clear. So don't panic when that happens. You don't need to pull it back off and go in and try and clean it. If you do that, you'll probably make things worse. It's best to leave it and then reassess once it's dry, because it will dry clear. And these front lenses are going to be painted anyway, so it's not that it has to be perfect, perfectly, without a blemish on it. There you go. It's a mistake. I put too much glue on. So, and now we're going to do a live repair, hopefully. Now, because so when things come off, often the temptation is to just glue it straight back on. Now, I've found that that isn't always the best solution. What you need to do first is go in on each piece and remove the old glue where possible. Just clean each surface up. This side's easy because it's, I can go in with a sander. This side, not so much because it's a very small cutout. But I do have this glass fibre pen of sorts, which is supposed to help get in these small areas. There we go, just pop that on there. And what I do is I demonstrate another useful tool here in a modeller's toolbox. Another decent tool. So what is it? Well, actually, I'm going to show you two. A rare treat indeed. I'm so kind. So the first one is Activator. If you haven't heard of this, it's brilliant. Get yourself a can. It's not too expensive, and it will last a long time. This stuff activates this stuff. So when you put super glue on something, for some reason it just doesn't seem to want to stick. We've all been there. It'll glue your hands together rock solid within nanoseconds. But you put two plastic pieces together, you hold them there for a couple of, 10 seconds, you let go and it all falls apart. That happens from time to time. I don't know why. But it does. And for that reason, we have adhesive activator, which I think it uses moisture and another chemical, which just instantly sets the glue rock solid. Only works on cyanoacrylate. Cyanoacrylate. I don't know whether I'm saying that right. So let's get a little cap there. And what we're going to do, look at the nozzle. I told you it was a hot product. It's melted the nozzle. Yet it doesn't melt the plastic bottle. Weird. And we're going to pour that out a little bit. I only need a little bit. I've probably put way too much there, but. And the other thing I'm going to introduce you to is a sewing needle. And basically, these are fantastic for using super glue. So many people will tell you to use a cocktail stick. So you put your cocktail stick in, and the problem with that is when it comes to very tiny pieces, you have this massive, you're not going to see it, but when you go to touch it against the tiniest little piece that's got to be glued on, a load of the glue um, floods onto the piece, and it just gets everywhere. So what you do is you get yourself an old sewing needle, um, and then deblunt one side for a start. I just got a coarse sander, and just took the blunt off, the sharp off the other side. Then you just snip the end off where the eye is, so you're left with like two prongs there. Now this one hasn't been cleaned since it was last used. You can still see the glue in the center. And the beauty with this is there's two ways you can do this. You can either use basically a nail polish remover, or as long as it's an acetone, sorry, is it acetone, and it will just dissolve that glue, and you'll keep the pin looking shiny. Much quicker way, a little bit more dangerous. You've got to be careful. Not dangerous, but is to just burn it off. Obviously, you have to be careful because the needle will heat up if you're there too long. And we come in now, and you can see that's clear. So what happens when we touch that to the glue, basically it floods that channel, and then you can come in and just touch it where you want the glue to go. Sorry, probably going to get in the way with my head here. And that's flooded that. And then we come in with that. And touch that on there. Like so. Now that is still a little bit loose. So I could, just to strengthen it up, do the same again. Go where the base is. I think I missed it. It's very difficult to get in there. I've got to be so. Oh, I've knocked I've knocked the other one off now. That's it. Just come in like that. Flood that seam, and then you'll literally spray that over the top, and that will set that solid. Easy as that. And you'll be able to touch that. There'll be that glue's set now. The only thing I will say is when you do it that way, it can make the glue can be more brittle than it normally would. So I think, if I remember correctly, when I glued these on, I just used, I think I just used tape. Not sure. So we'll just get this one back on. Do the same again. Clean that up. Little sliver of gold paint on there. So I just want to burn this off so that we've got a clean, fresh start. Yeah. Be careful when you're using a flame like that, because you are surrounded by hazardous, flammable materials. They've all got the fire symbol on. So just be aware that while you're doing it, you haven't got any open, you haven't filled the air with any sort of spray that's going to ignite like a mushroom cloud the minute you let me put that down there. This is yeah, you just know that I'm going to break something else off. Didn't load up the sewing needle properly. There we go, that's better. You go pop that in. Pop that on there. Let's just check that we're level. This is and front lights are not brilliant, but and then just to be sure, because give that a little spray over there, and that will secure that piece. As I said, it is a delicate kit, and I've proved it. All I've proved is that I'm clumsy, not that the kit's delicate, but I'm clumsy. So I think, I'm probably going to leave the show there for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. It has been a bit rushed. I had so much more planned, but I will do that. We'll do that another week. Next week, hopefully, next week will be the big announcement. And I look forward to seeing you all then. I don't think there's anything else for me to say. I'll just have a quick look at the chat. Dave Price, I think I know you, cheeky Watsit. I was born in 1957, not 1857. Yes, so Dave Price wins the puzzle question for tonight. 10 bonus points to Dave. Yeah, I was going to say to Dave, did they use candles back then? I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, not that sort of tour. You're the wrong sort of show, Dave, really. If you want that sort of thing, you need to be going somewhere else. Going to give Seymour Bomington's sewing needle. I'm going to give that a go. Oh, yeah, I'm going to give that a go. Learning something new every day. Well, if one person didn't know about that and it helps, I'm chuffed. I'm really chuffed that I've managed to help somebody. I thank you all for coming in and watching. I really do. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. So bye for now. I don't think there's anything else I can add. See you next week.